Hi, my name is Kathy Wade and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Learning Through Art Incorporated, and I'd like to welcome you to Books Alive for Kids, where we make books come alive through sight, sound, and touch. Today, our book is The Very Hungry Caterpillar for our little people. So, let's first take a look at what comes in that book box. The book box will have a copy of The Very Hungry Caterpillar. It'll have your study guide. It will also have your vocabulary words, which are taken directly from the book, and enough craft materials for 24 students in your class or your group. For those of you who are doing the backpack, you'll have the backpack plan to use, and each student gets its own individual items: a book, a craft, vocabulary words, and your backpack plan. So let's take a look at our study guide. As you know, we've changed the format, and when you open it up, it's just simple and 8 pages of simple instructions. We, of course, are setting the stage with our "I Go, I May" classroom management technique, the summary of the book. And for those of you who may not know the story of The Very Hungry Caterpillar, it is about a caterpillar that emerges from an egg and eats everything in sight. And it eats so much, becomes so big that finally a cocoon begins to form around it. And when the cocoon is gone and the caterpillar emerges, it's a butterfly. So let's take a look at what's in our study guide. Well, not only do we have the summary, but we want you to have fun. And we do want you to know that all of our materials are aligned to the Common Core. Let's look at session 1. As you know, we no longer have our pre and post assessment questions. What we have now is that before you start to read the story, we want you to show what you know by asking these questions of your students. Then read the book, maybe once, maybe twice. And after you read it the second time, then you want to ask them, now what do you know? Because that lets us know if the students are picking up the story and understanding the sequence of how things are happening. We also have our vocabulary words, which are put into a lesson that you can do with your students in your classroom. And then of course we have our classroom activities, and in this one we have How You See It, Vocab Detectives, Reader's Theater, What's Next, and Instructional Read-Alouds, all that can be simply put into your classroom curriculum to use with your students on a daily basis. We have facts about caterpillars, and then what we call a predictable book, which we'll talk about a little bit while we do our craft. That's session 1, and we hope that you have a great time. So now, let's figure out, how are we going to make our hungry caterpillar? Let's see. Well, we're back, and we have, once again, the fantastic Nina Parr, our program manager, and the person who creates these fabulous crafts for our Books Alive for Kids program. So Nina, I can't wait. Tell me how it works.
So instead of making a caterpillar, we're actually going to be making what the caterpillar turns into at the end, which is, of course, a butterfly.
Nice.
So we're going to make our watercolor butterfly.
Oh.
And to make that, your class will have your own spray bottle, coffee filters for all your students, pipe cleaners, wooden clothespins, and some eyeballs, and some washable markers.
Love it.
So to start, I would recommend highly laying down some newspaper or scrap paper.
Which we did not talk about earlier, so just keep in mind, lay down the paper.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to lay down our coffee filters. We're going to take a few colors that we like.
Okay.
And we're just going to draw some little designs all over our coffee filter.
Okay.
And it doesn't need to be all filled in. Actually, it shouldn't be all filled in.
Okay.
So we're just going to do some squiggly lines.
I like that.
And you can overlap them a little bit. You can do some little designs around the edges.
How cool is this?
You're just going to make kind of a big abstract painting with markers, if you will, and you'll see how this becomes a watercolor painting once we start spraying it.
I like this because you can design it any way that you want.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to look like anything.
No. It's kind of like when you look at the wings of a butterfly, you see their colors, and they're just everywhere.
So you can see we just kind of scribbled in some color
Love it.
That will translate really well once we spray it with water because the colors will start to bleed and mix together.
Okay.
So each coffee filter will get, I don't know, 5 or 6 sprays, and you'll see how much you'll need once you figure out how close you are, how far away you are. Some might need a few more sprays than others. So I'm gonna pass that on.
Oh, nice. Oh, see, I could get lost in this.
And you can already start to see the colors kind of mixing together.
Yes, that is great. Now, how long do we need to let that dry?
These actually dry pretty quickly, within a half hour or so.
Okay.
But feel free to start this on one day and come back to it the next day.
Excellent idea.
So we can set these aside.
Okay.
Because I have one here that's already dry.
Oh, nice.
And you can see they're kind of mixed together and they kind of look like watercolor.
Absolutely.
So what I need to do is just kind of cinch it together right in the middle.
Love it.
And I'm gonna make kind of like a bow tie shape.
Okay.
And then I can take my clothespin and stuff that shape right inside.
That's how you keep, that is so fascinating.
So I have the beginning of my butterfly.
Love it.
Next thing I want to do, if you want, you can take your marker and kind of decorate your clothespin.
Okay. Oh, I love the body.
Decorate the body of the butterfly.
Yay.
And then you'll have some eyes, and you can just stick them right on the top of the clothespin.
Okay. Oh, look at that. And I need 2
That one
eyes.
is 2. Yep. All of your students will get 2 eyes.
Okay. I like it.
You know what? Those aren't going to stick on the marker, so we're going to flip it on the other side just to show you what that looks like.
Great.
So let your marker dry before you put your eyes on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I like it.
Sticks much better once it's dry.
Yes. It'll hold better.
So then I have my eyes.
There's the eyes.
The last thing I want to do is with my antennas. You can kind of wrap them around your finger if you want.
Oh, that gives them that look.
Or around a pencil and stretch them out a little bit so that they're a little bit curly.
Yes.
So once, you don't have to do that. You can bend them, you can keep them straight, whatever you want to do. And these actually fit right in the top of your clothespin clamp.
Oh.
And you have your little butterfly.
There's our butterfly.
And these would be really cute hanging in your classroom, from the ceiling. Yeah.
Those are wonderful. Nina, thank you for our watercolor butterfly.
You're welcome.
Wasn't that fantastic? You know, Nina Parr is absolutely incredible. I love our watercolor butterflies, and I hope you love them too. They'll be so much fun to make as we look at The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Now, as you know, our third session is our performance, which is done by the Children's Theater of Cincinnati Workshop Division. It's a wonderful show. It's truly about butterflies. And then we want to point you to our extended activities. And this time I do want to point out to you that we have a wonderful activity in science. It is creating an observation station so that your little people can see how butterflies can come to you with the right things in your observation station. Once again, the extended activities are there right for you in Books Alive for Kids. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoy The Very Hungry Caterpillar, making your watercolor caterpillars, and we will see you the next time. Take care.